Good afternoon, YouTube friends. This is 3 weeks after I started my first professional series of YouTube videos concerning my case as being the victim of a scam. So I'm going to follow through with you because I spent this afternoon working on my case, and I now have 3 letters that I have prepared. Why I don't send emails is because everything's internal. I have to do it on their format on any computer I use. I have no verification other than feedback from them, so that gives them control over me, over which I recognize that the world is not about people anymore, that we are in AI, in artificial intelligence or oppressive control. I do not understand my world as good as I used to. So it's confession and it's reality, and it's my world that I'm dealing with. Pardon me. Here is a letter to Scott Barnhart, who is the Director of Consumer Protection at the Indiana Attorney General's Office. I filed 2 cases with him, of which I've heard nothing. And this has been 19 months ago, that the under FinCEN, which is the Federal Enforcement of Investigation for Criminal Activity, there are laws that says that theft, fraud, extortion, and money laundering are federal laws. And I have reiterated before the Attorney General that these have been violated on my behalf. So this is another letter to a different department head, who is Scott Barnhart. I've never met him. I generally work with the Consumer Protection and Theft and Identity Department, which is Steve Terataka, and I finally did get to talk to him after about 15 months. So I have made contact, and I'm sending them specifically information that is pertinent to my case, which I've actually solved the case for them. So here's a letter, and we're doing this hard copy, and I'll send it registered mail. This is a documented email that I tried to send to the United States Postal Inspection Department, as well as the FBI, that has specific information picking up on the investigation from the Indiana Attorney General's Office concerning the money laundering. These are the names of the dates that the checks were sent, the tracking number of the postal receipts that they were sent, and who they were sent to, and who received them, because they were post office box and also private addresses. And this is called, these are called, now I know, money mules. Well, to me that's a derogatory term that I never knew existed. So I'm a product of that into this investigation. So I can put all these documents online in my case as I'm writing my book and getting all my information together. So I thought that I would resend this to Jeff Adams, who is a U.S. Secret Service Investigative District Office here in Indiana. I contacted Mr. Adams 19 months ago and sent him my case and information when I filed with the Indiana Attorney General's Office. So I never have heard anything from them. I have followed up in the last month to contact the United States Postal Inspector Investigator, and he told me that he needed the tracking numbers. Now, do you think in America today that anybody's going to actually do any work? Do we in America believe that people actually want to work? Because they have this information. So they put it back on me to follow up to do it. Well, I did do it. Again, this envelope contains a similar letter that I sent to Mr. Barnhart at the department, the Director of Department of Consumer Affairs at the Indiana Attorney General's Office. So I sent that to him, and here is, it's the same letter, and it has the tracking numbers for the U.S. Postal Service. So digitally and forensically, as I've studied this the last 2 years, they can find this money. They know where it is. Now, then the third one is I'm refiling with the Indianapolis Police Department just to raise consciousness again, because nobody seems to be doing, quote, their jobs or follow through. So I'm sure it's laying in a computer or on somebody's desk or in a file number. Well, and I know they'll get to it when they get to it, but this is a priority to me. This is my life savings that I have invested. So I followed to do due diligence for my part of what needs to be done before America and to raise the consciousness. And I expounded to Mr. Barnhart and I've also expounded this to Steve Tarataka, who is a department head under Theft Protection Investigative Services, that the public needs to be informed. The fact that they're not informing us is not under our Constitution. And I'm going to raise a consciousness and awareness of that if I have to use YouTube to do it. So, I appreciate your support. I don't know what kind of support you can give me. I want to show you, since my first contact with Sid General James H. Dickinson, this is my file. I have dotted my I's and crossed my T's, and this is my file. I think it's sad, very, very sad in this digital age that, first of all, I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is, I work with people for master's degree from Purdue University and IU University. And I wanted to live in a college town when I retired, and so I'm here. And when these people retire, I want to tell you, they don't think. I can understand that. I think retirement is good, but coming from a healthcare modality and the way the brain works and the way you were created, that you were created for good works until you're to leave this earth. So anyway, that's my file. I just want you to know that whatever you think a romance digital relationship is, it isn't. Now, I'm working with catfish, social catfish, and I did decide to go public with this only because I want to try to make what I call, in my faith, bring my beauty out of my ashes, which is a scripture. And I think God is honoring me in this, and it's not without work. And my life has not been without work, and out of work has come good for me because I feel better about myself and know that I did what was right, and I continued positively before America. So I want to do that here. And in these letters, I'm trying to raise consciousness that they are oppressing people by not letting people talk, by not talking to people, and not letting this information out before the public in a professional manner. And maybe they don't know how to do that. I don't know. But in healthcare, if I had to give a medication that we knew had serious side effects, we did education, and I had a mandated under JCAHO, a mandated policy to follow to make sure that this had been done. And I think in this digital age, because of lack of accountability before people, and people, that we're going to have to come to this as a nation, that we have a sheet that we mark, that people mark off when they're finishing a case. And I don't see how the government that I understood, which is Caesar's world and the world in which I live, I do not understand how law enforcement cannot do this. We've got jobs to do, all of us, and we need to do them to the standards of which we are hard before the public. But the frustration that I've experienced through this has been very, very complicated for me. So anyway, that's where I am with it. I'm going to still continue to try to do some public presentation through YouTube, and hopefully we can begin to correspond, and I can get to know you, and that you will endorse me in what I'm calling investigative in journalism in many respects is just to be conscious that we have a moral, ethical responsibility in each of us, in human dignity given to us before God, and that we are to walk in that. Knowingly or unknowingly, it doesn't change the principle of which we're governed in America for the betterment of mankind. And I look at that under the Constitution. I don't, with this world the way it is, I don't know how everybody else is looking at it. But I'm trying to hold to my dignity and human value and human worth before America. So that's my goal for this week, and I've accomplished it, and I'm continuing to move on with it. If you want to contact me on YouTube, I would love to. I'm learning how to use YouTube in a more positive manner than what I am. I use Facebook, but I don't think it's bringing the criteria before the public as well as YouTube is. So I would give you my cell number if you want to text me. It's 614-404-7661. And as to my story before America, as to how I could be so vulnerable to be scammed, I first of all had to deal with my own emotional emotions and my own self-worth in this confusion of being scammed. I did not give my heart and my mind to just anybody. I gave it to a man that presented himself as a General James H. Dickinson. And through his prayers. And I do not want to send this gentleman to stand before God. I don't think I even want to know. If we believe everything the Scripture tells us in America, then I don't want to know what this man's going to do as he stands before God. Because I gave him my heart, I gave him my money to help him get out of Syria, to help other people. And what has come of this across America is distressing to me. And I would hope it would be distressing to America, that we will begin to unite and stand up and care for one another and work together for a unified America. I don't know how that's going to ever happen with what I'm seeing now if Trump does choose to run again and Joe Biden. I think our leadership is very, very weak, and I don't know the future. So again, my name is Helen Pointer. I'm a retired RN. I'm now an author and an artist. This will be my third book that I'm writing, and I will stand before the American public for human worth and dignity for individuals in this. And I think we the women that have been scammed by this, need to come forth and stand together and help other people that this could never happen again. So I appreciate your support. Helen Pointer, thank you.